Welcome to AfterBuzz TV. We got Champs vs. Stars episode 6 recap, breaking it down tonight. Jose is ballerina dancing. We got Drake Bell's epic power play, and of course we're gonna break down that crazy twist. So stay with us in just a second.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes.
To be square.
I feel like this is such a nerdy dad song or something.
It is, because it's like,
What about like a rectangle?
Lewis in the news.
What about a rectangle? Is it cool to be a rectangle?
It's hip to be.
It's like a double square.
I don't know.
That's so scientific. You're getting too
So are you
crazy.
trying to say you're a rectangle?
What's up to everybody in the chat?
All right, guys, welcome
Hilarious.
in. As mentioned,
Thank
Champs
you.
vs. Stars breakdown here on AfterBuzz TV. We got episode 6. This one is Champs caught in crossfire. Ooh, Champs caught in crossfire. It's a tongue twister is what it is. And we do see the stars coming up. Everything's coming up, all stars this episode. We're going to break it all down. We got a special segment coming on later, a little bit of news and gossip. Gonna talk about the challenge of the day, a little Mama versus Kayla, who we think the real LVP and MVPs are. And let's get into it. My name is Jenna Bussiere. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a full panel. Our new man holding it down, Justin, in the house.
What up, everybody? Your boy, Justin Yang in the house, Challenge Fanatic. Super excited to talk about tonight's episode.
Pamela.
Yes, thank you guys for joining us in the chat. This is a great episode. Very psyched to be here and get it going on.
Yo, David Punk Rock Christopher. What's going on, guys? Let's do this.
Let's do it.
I think that might have been the corniest roundtable intro we've
Right?
ever done.
Perfect song.
It's
for
hip to
corny
be
intro.
square, Jen. It's hip to be
Exactly.
square.
Perfect song.
It's the dad songs in our ear that's getting us going tonight. Let's pick up where we left off with this twist.
Oh.
So we've made it this far. The stars are finally taking over this game, which I like because I'm thinking, as mad as the champs are getting, aka Tony getting mad that he's not MVP, Kayla getting mad that she's getting voted in, and I'm sitting here thinking, champs, you've asked for this. You made it champs versus stars from the very first episode. This is full circle. This is all your fault. So we're finally seeing the stars taking over, Louise and Casper taking over the game, and then the Miz says, oh, no longer red versus blue. This is going to be teams of 2 and pairs. Finishing off the season. So what do you think about that right off the bat? What are your overall thoughts?
Okay, so I'm going to jump right in because I have been shooketh. I am
Get it.
seriously
Go for it.
shooketh because I was just, well, I had to default to like, oh, right, who am I? Yo, thanks, yo. Because I was counting and because it seemed to me like the stars were now clearly outnumbering the champs, but it is even. We have 7 champs and 7 stars now. So I don't even know how they're going to do the pairs, but that's whatever. Another quick observation just overall from the show. No couth is my word for Kayla, who I love. I have come around to love her, but she's like a 14-year-old that's like, hey, mom. You know, like she just has no couth about anything. It's like, well, why are we lame? Like she just, her every thought goes expressed, and it's fun to watch. Now I've gotten over being like, oh my God, I dislike you, to being like, oh, I get it. She's a lovable, you know, whatever she is. And I think West did play some good game tonight. And I think Tony, I gotta say, not our Tony,
Our
but
magical
not our
Tony.
Tony, thanks Tony, but Tony time, Tony
You
two
said my
kids.
name.
Yeah, has finally maybe learned a lesson. Like there was a moment where he was like, I really want to freak out. And I had his back on that about not being voted the MVP after he was clearly the MVP and realizing he was just literally a workhorse for that team and him knowing to keep his cool. So Tony, congratulations. I think this was a moment of growth for you.
Well, we'll get into Tony definitely
Yeah.
later when it comes to MVP, LVP. Were you guys surprised by the twist that happened? Because we always know that there's something that's going to happen. There's going to be some kind of curveball explosion thrown our way. I have to say, I was honestly surprised. I thought that this season was going to just play out, finally letting the stars take control, or maybe the champs coming back in. But I did not see pairs happening at all.
Right.
So
I was actually thinking as, you know, everything's playing out, I'm like, wow, like the stars are actually coming up. They're beating the champs at their own game. Like, is this going to be that season we finally see things kind of shift? And now it's a stars game. Like, whoa, this is a big deal, right? And then, of course, that curveball comes and it's like, well, now what the heck does this mean? Where are we going from here? You know what I mean? So I don't know what to think as far as that goes. But yeah, that's definitely, I was surprised. It caught me off guard.
For me personally, in terms of the actual twist, I was not surprised. I'm pretty sure a lot of you weren't surprised because, I mean, that's the game. Brooke Hogan last week told us there's a huge twist coming, and I'm pretty sure she was alluding to this. I mean, this entire time, like Chance versus Stars, even that was the first twist of the whole game. Like, you think it's Chance versus Stars, then they mix the pairs. Now it's going to be, pairs. Now, who knows? At the very end, it could just be a single person's game. So I guess we're just going to have to, find out.
Because they've never done pairing in a champs versus series, but I
Right.
like this. I'm with it, and there's a lot of pairs we want to see, and we'll get into that later in our special segment. But what do you guys think? How is the pairing going to work? You think it's going to be a champs and champs, stars? It's got to be champs for stars, right? I mean, at this point, there's so many rivalries.
You would
made.
think.
You
would
have
think.
to.
But then again, I mean, well, yeah. I mean, but pairing each other with your rival, that always works, right? That's funny, So, I mean, yeah, I have no clue. I'm kind of thrown off right now. So I'm curious to see what happens.
So shook by the twist that
Pam couldn't even find
like,
the
I
word.
can't
She's
talk.
so
during
excited.
my counting and realizing that there were 7 champs and 7 stars, now I think it's on the show Champs vs. Stars. They're going to do Champs vs. Stars or Champs and Stars together as a pair. But I don't know. I mean, I
love
really
it,
don't
though.
know.
It doesn't matter to me how they pair it, as long as I see Wes and Casper go head to head, and Kayla and
You
Little
think
Mama
Wes and
go to
Casper?
head.
I think
Okay.
it's gonna happen. I think there's
I
a
don't
build
care
up.
how you pair it up. Like, Wes could be paired up with freaking Drake for all I
Right.
care. It doesn't
Right.
matter as long as I see those two pairings together. Because I mean, they got quite a bit of beef, and
I kind of see
like
that narrative there a little bit. It's kind of like almost like when you read between the lines, you kind of see that building up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this twist was a little necessary because I think this is one of the best champs for stars we've had in the entire 3 series of it going on.
Absolutely.
But you do kind of start to hit the lull where it's just not the same as the regular challenges. As entertaining as it's been, it's kind of like, okay, like this is still going. How many more weeks, how many more episodes we got? So this twist makes me excited again. So it's happy. I'm glad that it happened. And it gets me excited. It's what we needed. And something else that gets us excited is our wonderful founder, Maria Menounos. And Pam has a few words about her.
Yeah, I do want to tell you guys about Maria's podcast. If you want to have fun and learn and grow in all areas of your life, this is the podcast for you. It is called Conversations with Maria Menounos, Podcast Edition. It's hosted by AfterBuzz's founder, Maria Menounos. It drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, from health and wellness to career, relationship, finances, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. All you have to do to subscribe to this is go to iTunes, Conversations with Maria Menounos. It's free. Subscribe. Be sure to rate and comment. And when you check out Maria's podcast, let them know that your friends here at the challenge sent you. Woo woo.
Woo! Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, now we're hopping in. We got to get into the challenge of the day. Then we're going to talk about the LVP, the MVP voting. So today's challenge, Crossfire. Of course, it's giant slingshots. It's always giant, life-size something.
Right.
Right off the bat, Salida is pumped about this challenge, which I find hysterical. She's like, I used to do slingshots all the time with my brothers. Like, I'm so set for this. And then she's kind of campaigning for herself to be one of the slingshot
Shooters.
Perfect. I'm
slingshot
like
shooters. Launchers?
slingshotters. Exactly.
Thingamajigger.
Yeah.
And some of the girls aren't feeling it, not trying to let her go, Kayla being one of them. But I'm thinking this is good. We need to see something from Salida. So I'm happy that she sits up and she volunteered. But then, as what we saw through the edit, she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I thought she was so lame in this challenge.
Yeah.
And Jenna, you giggled when we were watching it, and I didn't catch it as soon as we were watching it. And Salida said, like, I used to do slingshots with my brother. Jenna was laughing hard, and I was like, oh. And then when it was life size, I was like, oh, that's why. Because, like, what does this have to do with, like, that? It's a big difference taking a little finger to a ball and taking a giant
Right.
heavy thing and knocking humans down. But it was really funny that this is when Salida stepped up and was really fighting for her right to participate. strange.
And I like that Lil Mama is then giving it to Kayla, saying, well, if this is the case, Kayla, you're going to be hanging from that ceiling because you fold under pressure.
Boom.
And Kayla, who we like to see be outspoken and also get into these kind of confrontations, says nothing.
Well, I liked that at least that these girls were fighting on a female elimination day for their participation role. I hate when the guys start getting really like involved and fighting for over dumb things when it's like you're not going in anyway. Why are you guys all beating your chests and showing your muscle? So for these girls it made sense because it was gonna be one of them, or else it was just clever editing that made it look like setting up the beef the whole show. But we kind of knew going into this episode Little Mama and Kayla, you know, are
Kind of have some
or
beef.
might have not even have beef,
I wish we were
but
seeing
might
more of
be.
it. It seems like there was something there that we didn't really get to see ourselves.
Yeah. But it was fun to see it. It was interesting. I agree that Selena, that was funny. And it's funny again. I didn't realize the life size. It's always like life size.
She's like,
blah,
yes,
blah.
slingshot, I'm going to rock at this.
Yeah, that's their default.
The funny thing about Selena is the fact that I feel like she has something to prove, right? Obviously, she looks good coming out of the water as a Bond girl in the previous episodes, but the fact that you're kind of being so adamant, like, I got to prove myself, okay, we'll give you a chance, and when you're given the chance, she kind of didn't really do anything, but I think it's because she feels like she's on the chopping block, that she could be next to be thrown in an elimination.
She probably didn't realize that the difference between little slingshot in the backyard with your brothers and a slingshot on the challenge level.
Human level, yeah,
Yeah, it's heavy.
She
dude.
gave it a go though. She gave it what she got, so I gotta appreciate that.
Those supermodel arms are not, you know, bulky, but she did, in her defense, when it was time to shut up or put up, when it was the sort of end and they were all scrambling to perform and do whatever they could, she was holding boxes, she was grabbing balls, she was really putting
plus
her
for
all
effort.
into
Yeah.
it.
She did do a good effort.
Yeah.
tried.
And we saw a lot of people who we haven't seen shine do really well in this challenge. I
Yeah.
thought actually Brooke and Tori were kicking ass.
Yeah.
Tori was a mad woman out there.
They're going after
yes.
it.
And Jose, as much as I wanted to hate on him, at first we laughed when he came on the screen because he said, Kayla could be doing something. She could be playing defense with her legs. And we were the first one to hear say do that. So we're like, what are you talking about, Jose? Oh, you're not doing anything. It looks like your feet are dangling 5 feet still from the boxes. And then you see Wes do it and Drake do it. And then Jose, by the end of it, is strong man.
He's like firmly planted.
Standing on there
Smart.
doing his ballerina dancing on top of the box. And I have to give it to him. I was rooting for him by the end of it because I thought it was funny.
Over Drake? What?
Yeah, because Jose was actually, he looked like he was giving way more effort. Like he was
Yeah.
standing there like Superman on those boxes, like giving it. At least like giving the model look. Like he was working the runway. Drake just looked, as well as Drake did, he looked pathetic hanging up there. He looked like...
Comfortable.
She was doing a good job though, and I at this point, Ashley's like carrying on and being defeatist against the blue team, which is so eye roll because where is it going to get you? Had she hung on longer, she could have made it somewhere, and the blue team, red team thing's over anyway. So
Shooting
that
herself
was
in the foot.
annoying. And Josiah's so annoying. So I was rooting for the blue team just because those two red team supporters. I'm like, forget it. I can't get behind that. So
I think in
I'm
terms
blue
of the
team.
strategy, it's smart in the sense of where I think what they should have done is they should have, at the very end, they tried to get Jose out. But what you should have done is you should have hit the boxes beneath as
Yes.
opposed to the actual one. Because if you're hitting the top box, his foot is going to be on it. So it's going to be really hard to.
Right.
So as opposed to hitting the ones on the bottom. But it's so ironic because Ashley is just, this entire time she's trying to throw the actual challenge. And she does, but they still end up winning. She ends up going to the elimination and she gets sent home. So it's like...
I actually have to say,
Yeah.
I like that she's throwing these challenges. I like that Ashley is crazy and she stays to her craziness.
It's funny to watch. It is, and I'm always for the rebel. You know what I mean? So I think it's cool, but at the same time, she is shooting herself in the foot, which we saw happen. You know?
Okay, how is she shooting herself in the foot though? Because she's always going to go into elimination. That's why I'm on her side on this, because she got traded to the blue team to be their scapegoat, to be their sacrificial lamb every single challenge. So why not give it back to them a little bit and say, hey, I'm at least going to make you lose when I can.
I mean,
I'm
yeah, I
kinda with
understand
her.
that. I understand that. But again, I mean, you're only making things more difficult on yourself. You know what I mean? If you're one man fighting against the whole team. You know what I mean? So that's my point with that is like, I guess, try and find a better way to go around sabotaging the team as opposed to just blatantly out in the open. Hey guys, here's the army and I'm one. You know what I mean?
That's what I like about her, though. I like that she's blatant. She's just coming
doesn't
out there and
care.
saying, I know what you
Yeah,
did.
right, I get it.
You're
Yeah, I
putting
get
me
it.
in the elimination every time, so I'm going to try to make you lose every time. Eye for an eye.
But maybe if you had some kind of strategy behind it, even with the other team.
Yeah.
Her strategy was just to keep winning, as we saw later in the episode. She didn't, but I still think she's a good competitor, but we'll get
She
into the
is, yeah.
elimination later. I also thought Tony did really well today.
He did.
And, of course, he's up for the MVP. Well, he's not really up for the MVP candidacy later on.
Yeah, it's crazy because Tony this season and the past season, he's been performing really, really well. Like I think ever since his whole kind of cleaned up his act and just focused on the game, he's performed really well. But it just kind of blows my mind that usually the MVP is based off performance, and he
Right.
obviously performed the best. If
That's
it
not
wasn't,
how this game works, though.
Yeah, it's,
Don't be naive.
Yeah, I'm not
They're-
trying to be Tony, but I'm just like I would have done something a little bit more as opposed to maybe try to get Wes on your side. But then again,
There's
like you
no-
said, it is
the
a
numbers
thing.
are against
Yeah,
them. There's
it's a numbers
no-
thing.
Exactly.
So,
It really always is.
Tony did a good job of keeping his cool. I liked when Casper said, like, is he right? Should he be the MVP? Yes. Will I help him out? Nope.
Never.
Liked that he at least acknowledged it. It's hard to watch Ashley and all of the champs. Sorry, I'm going back to this, but this episode, at episode 6, is when I would have liked it to become apparent to the stars that are being played, not episode 1. For all their talk of gameplay and manipulation, and we've been in this before and we know, to be like, we're not really on your team, we're gonna sabotage you. Like, from the get-go
yeah.
is so moronic. That's what keeps, I'm like a fish in a bowl, but that's what keeps stumping me every time. It's like, you guys could have played it a different way and not totally put your cards on the line out, played it a little closer to the vest from the get-go, and then sort of made it when it's game time to make these decisions when the numbers are close. They could have played it a lot cooler.
That's why it is so
and a lot
funny at this
better.
point in the game, like mentioned earlier, the champs asked for it. Like, you guys started
Right.
this. How can you now
Every
be
bit of
mad
it.
when the tables are turning on you? You created this monster.
Exactly. By being foisted by their own petard. It's like, we're not going to play the game you want us to. It's like, well, then, you just showed us everything, and we're good
And now we're
too.
doing it back at you.
Pam,
Yeah.
Pam, I just gotta say, I love your choice of words tonight. You're throwing these
Yeah.
things out there all tonight.
So I want to ask you guys then. So we
Interesting.
see a little bit of Wes before the challenge starts, him saying, I really would like to slingshot, but then he becomes so submissive to them and just does everything that the blue team wants. So are you feeling like
a
Wes is
low-level employee.
pathetic at this point? Or do you think that he's just playing smart and he should have quit trying to do the manipulation game because it obviously wasn't working for him?
I think he's hilarious. I love his commentary.
too.
It cracks me up.
think-
I like Wes.
I think Wes is very smart. He's done so many of these things, and he knows, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Obviously, he can't manipulate any of these people, so he's going to try to lull them. And look what happened. Coincidentally, not really coincidentally, but from the start of the season, they said that the person who wins elimination is basically going to get the power play and going to choose who gets to go in. And that's exactly what happened. And when he said to the team, it's like, you guys knew it was probably going to be a tie. None of you guys came to talk to me. None of you guys. That just kind of shows the fact that there's still some inexperience in this game when it comes to politicking and negotiating.
Right. Too true. Yeah.
Wes is very calculated, and he's always looking at different angles. He's looking at the bigger picture. Where I think a lot of people are just more nearsighted.
I just thought at this point in the episode, before we see that he does get the power back in his hands, and maybe it was his plan all along to win the elimination to get the next power move, at this point he did look a little pathetic because we're not used to seeing Wes ever back down or not try to cut the deals, and he just fully laid on his back and let them walk all over him and just rolled over. But it was, it's
I
all
don't agree,
relative.
Jen. I don't agree
it's
with
all
you.
relative. That's why I just wanted to put it out there. But as you guys are watching us and sending in your comments, thank you so much, comments and questions on YouTube. We love when you guys join us live. Make sure that you go on iTunes because I've been checking. I feel like I'm the scolding teacher. And I haven't seen too many comments on our iTunes page.
What?
We do need to get some more subscribers. If you want to listen to us
Guys.
as a podcast as well, it's easier to drive to. If you subscribe to us, you're on the go. Maybe you can jog with us tomorrow morning, the morning after.
Yes.
I listen to
all
podcasts
that.
that way, so you can actually go on iTunes and subscribe to us that way and give us a rating and give us some comments so that we can move forward with our podcast.
Or Jen's
And-
gonna find you. She will.
Yeah, I do. I stalk people for a living. I work for a crime TV show as well, so.
I
all
wanna-
the listeners, I'm
True
gonna
story.
do something.
I'm stuck on Wes. Sorry. I want to share with you another. This one's actually coming from
Let it out,
the
Pam.
OG. It was an analogy given by someone in the house, and I want to apply it to Wes. The analogy was the moron watches someone burn his hands on the fire. The smart person sees it happen and doesn't do it. I think this analogy applies to Wes in that doing his usual politicking and being like, I'm in control, little game, there's no way to beat this. It's better to be likable. And to play their game to an exaggerated degree.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I think than to like fight within your own team. That's why Ashley's frustrating me, and I guess it's cute or whatever, because everyone seemed to have fondness for Ashley, even though they were like, "This is what's got to happen." It didn't seem like people were like, "We hate her, we want her gone."
Right.
It seemed like even the blue team loved her, so I'm sure she just turned on the sabotage for the games, and that became her shtick. But I think Wes played a smart move by becoming subservient and showing his belly instead of trying to manipulate, because there was no winning, and now he got to save Kayla when push came to shove. So he still showed at heart he's a champ and everybody loves him. So,
Strategy.
Well,
Yeah,
yep. So we're
exactly.
going to get into
So-
the MVP, LVP voting. So we got the red team, who's a hot mess because now the playing field is even. Same amount of stars, same amount of champs. So for some reason, the champs pick Lil Mama as the star that they're going for this week. And maybe she's a threat, sure, but in my opinion, I'm not sure why they're not going for Salida instead, because they just need a star, no matter who the star is, and you might as well keep Mama around because Mama's a little bit better of a competitor, so she'll at least help you win the team games, but you're still knocking out a star if you're going for Salida. So I don't know why they're going for Mama.
I think the reason why they're going for Little Mama is because the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. Even though Salida, even though Little Mama, they're both on the Stars team, but it's like Salida, she's kind of in the wake. She's kind of just like doing her thing and trying to, fly under the radar. And I mean, for me, if I was on the team, I'd probably throw in Little Mama too. So
I like her spunk though.
I mean, I don't know what everyone in the chat, like what you guys think, like who you guys throwing, but I think it's just she's playing it from the long-term game.
Jen,
Salida.
I'll agree with you on that one, though. I think definitely get rid of Salida. I mean, Little Mama's, in my opinion, a better competitor, so you'd want to keep her around. I was kind of confused on that, too. But on the flip side, you do make a good point, though. That is a good point. But again, I mean, it is Stars champs. I mean, who doesn't kind of pop off every once in a while? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think it should have been Salida.
And the major thing here, too, is Kayla's shock. Kayla, why are you surprised that your name is being said? And I don't like to say that a lot of the champs and the vets have some type of entitlement, but she definitely showed that tonight. And
Yes.
she
Absolutely.
seemed mouth dropped. It's going to be you or Tori. Who's more likable?
Right.
Tori's made friends with everybody. And Kayla, you haven't really done anything athletically in this competition. And
Except
also,
run your
you're a
mouth.
champ.
Yeah.
And the Stars are voting against the champs. And they're not going to vote for their girl Tori, so it's going to be you. And I just cannot believe, what? Me? This is absurd.
Right. Her literal shoulder shake.
Yes.
Shocked. I agree with you 1,000,000%, Jenna, and Justin, you as well, that Kayla actually said it in her, like when her and Shane were having teen talk. It was like, yeah, it's the same reason I'm getting voted in instead of Tori. It is. It's the nail gets the hammer, whatever
Yep,
that
the nail
was.
that
It's
sticks up
true.
gets hammered down.
Kayla and Little Mama are the most,
Talky,
we're the most
bratty.
mouthy
Yep.
in this episode. So it's going to be one of two people. You just pick, it's easier to say, oh, well, she was attacking me, so her. That's why I think Salida just...
Were you pissed then that Wes got the move from winning the last elimination and that he was able to save Kayla and put in Lil Mama, or would you have rather seen?
He saved. Oh, sorry.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think,
didn't get that.
I don't think I was pissed because like Wes is probably one of my favorite characters on the show. Just in terms of competition, in terms of politicking, and I feel like this entire episode they played it off like he's the subservient dog to Casper and everything. He doesn't have any power, but what do you know? At the very end, he has power, and that goes to show you anything can happen in this game. Even when you think you're out, like completely out of the game, or you're down in the dumps, one little twist, one little move, and the fact that it's like he has power. So I'm not mad about it.
I
It's
agree.
almost at this point you want to go into elimination because then you're going to have almighty power the next time. Sure, there's a risk of losing, but for some people who are very confident going into the elimination doesn't sound like that bad of a deal right now.
Yeah.
I thought the champs got thrown a bone in this situation because the stars were taking over, and especially on the blue team. The blue team has been Team Stars for like the last 4 episodes, and the stars have now outnumbered the champs every time. So there's only Tony, Wes, and Ashley as a star on the blue team, and the rest of them are all, or I'm sorry, as champs. The rest of them are all stars.
Right.
So they needed that power move from Wes to be able to get the champs back into this game. So they were
Right.
kind of getting lucky at that point. But then when we go into elimination, the
Dun, dun,
stars
dun.
get lucky again.
Lucky again.
See, I was actually kind of pissed about that. I was like, God dang it, because I mean, you knew like it's gonna be another champ, you know. I was like, that sucks. I would like to see Little Mama go at it, you know.
I like it though.
I like it.
So then we get-
I didn't, because you know I'm at heart. I'm going for the champs, but like,
I was excited to see Lil Mama perform. So let's just set the backdrop then. So we're moving, into elimination. And so far we have Lil Mama and Ashley, and we're set on this. We think this is going to happen. We know Drake has a power move. I didn't think it was going to be as obvious as now just subbing people in and out. Maybe he was going to have a hand on what kind of game they played, or
Right.
strategy, or like phone a friend,
like the
call a
grenades, you know?
friend.
Right.
Yeah, like you could have somebody help you out for a minute. I didn't think it was going to be
Phone a
that
friend.
clear cut and on a silver platter as, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Now you can swap anybody for Lil Mama. So obviously they're going to put a champ in, and
Right.
obviously it's going to be Kayla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I thought with the name Override, right? Like when they serve it up, that power play is called
Yeah.
Override. Like he's basically overriding the decision.
Yeah.
And I kind of just wanted to see Little Mama perform because she has all this bark.
I
but, like,
agree.
maybe it's just all bark, no bite, you know? And if there was some way possible that they could have had Little Mama and Kayla go in it like one-on-one, I would have rather have seen that than the elimination that we saw.
I agree 100%. That's exactly how I felt. It's
Right.
like, I was like,
I want to see these two go at it, but I was like, okay. I mean, still champs versus stars, so they're trying to get rid of, the champs in that sense.
All I know is I am just so shocked that Kayla won this challenge.
are you?
I am very shocked because Ashley is actually very smart. She's always been really good at puzzles. She's always been one of the fastest girls to do the riddles and getting the mind games together. No offense, I didn't think Kayla had a shot. We saw her
Right.
on what was the last season? Wasn't Dirty 30?
Color, vendettas.
Vendettas, yes, when she had to do the basket case versus Marie. And Marie went on a different podcast afterwards, and she said, actually, Kayla took like hours to do a 5th grade level puzzle. I just didn't have that much faith in her doing this. But that being said, this elimination was ridiculous.
It was.
How the hell were you supposed to figure this out?
I will say first, and I even turned to you, we were watching, I was literally laughing because I thought it was hilarious. They look so funny in these like little round things with these little things. It was funny to me, and I don't know how the heck they even think of that. Like these producers, like, anyways, but I mean, I don't think it's really that hard of a challenge, and it's just one of those things. I mean, it's difficult in the sense that, yes, you got to get through these bars, but I don't think it's something like, competitive where you got to like have this tenacity and grit, and like, I mean, it's more of just like, yes, exactly.
Was the key word.
Yes, exactly. So
challenge.
I think in that sense, I think they both had a fair shot. It wasn't something where it's like, oh, this person has a bigger advantage. That
Yes.
It's.
I would have
even.
liked to see those two go head to head though, because they are
Right.
pretty physically matched.
But when you're physically the puzzle piece, it's
Exactly.
one thing to be doing that with
You're
your
so
eyes
right.
and your brain. They were standing in it blind. It became at that point sheer luck almost. You can't even see the things
It's
around
just-
you.
yeah,
You're
it's
trying to
ridiculous.
maneuver. So I think she just did something and was like, oh. And then
kinda
sort
wiggle.
of at that point, that Kayla, I think she really lucked out. I think if they were doing that as a brain teaser, if they had that puzzle to do, I think Ashley would have probably won. I don't know for sure, but I'm not going to say that Kayla's skill and ingenuity got her out of that and made her beat Ashley. I think in that situation, it's just like you're just trying to move around and see what works. It was wild. I loved though Wes's comment about, I feel like I'm an extra on Drake and Josh when Drake fully fakes asking the team what to do.
Well, we've had several people on who have talked about Drake's dramatics and theatrics throughout this season.
We gotta get Drake on. We gotta
Yeah,
get you on.
Drake.
So
Yeah. So interesting enough, in the chat group, we have Elizabeth Jimenez who says, I don't think Ashley gave it her all. So do you think that Ashley purposely just didn't want to win? Or do you think Kayla was actually had great ingenuity, but part of me believes that the minute I saw Kayla trying to figure it out and the fact that she was getting on a lower center of gravity and she was moving around, I mean, that's what you're essentially going to have to do, as opposed to Ashley, who's just kind of like wiggling around. I mean, you can't prepare for these challenges. Like, I don't care how many puzzles you do, you've never done a puzzle like this.
Right.
But do you think that Ashley kind of just like,
Honestly,
whatever?
maybe. I think that's very possible because she probably was not intimidated by Kayla's smarts. So she probably wasn't going as hard as she thought she had to. It's not that she wanted to lose or she didn't care to be there. I think she has the spunk and the competitiveness to want to win. But I honestly just don't think Kayla scared her. She wasn't intimidated. She didn't feel the need to rush through it. She said, I can take my time with this. I can wiggle around, figure it out. I'm up against Kayla. She'll never finish it. So I got all the time in the world type of thing. She slept on her.
I think if that's the case, that was maybe up until when she saw Kayla get almost out of the cage. Because you can see the expression on her face. When she stepped out, you saw Ashley's face kind of like, oh, it was almost like light bulb,
Snap,
like
yeah.
wake up, you know? And like, so I think if that was the case, maybe up until that point, and then, but obviously it was too late. Because she obviously was bummed, and I don't think she's going to throw up. But yeah, maybe she did sleep a little bit. But again, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think she really wanted to be there. So if that's the case, I think she woke up halfway through, but it was too late.
This is like my nightmare of a challenge. If I ever went on the challenge and this would be the first thing I have to do, be like, really? Come on, this?
No snakes, no spiders, no like
strategy
eating,
like that.
no
Like
eating weird stuff.
I would just be walking into the poles, not knowing how
Like
to get
this, like-
out of there.
I'd rather try and
I'm
do
not
this.
even sure how Kayla did it,
hilarious.
to be honest.
That's why
She
I
doesn't even know. I
lot
don't
of
think Kayla
ingenuity
knows how
that
she did
Kayla-
it.
have you guys ever done those brain teasers and when you get it, you're like, I
No.
couldn't do that again. Like
I don't
it just
do those
was enough.
things.
Maybe it was
I'm the
luck.
dumb jock.
Well,
Don't
okay.
give me a book.
So at this point, it's funny because you were just saying that you want, obviously, the champs to win. And I hate to confess this, guys, but with who we have in the game right now, Luis, Drake, Booby, Casper,
Selena,
and
Little Mama.
CT,
Selena, Little Mama.
oh,
I just like the blue team so much better, and it happens to be star driven.
How dare you?
That I
I don't know.
if
Wes,
I put that at
CT.
this point, I
mean, we got a
I
good
love
team
Wes
still.
and CT, but they're not on the same team. Like Wes and
Well,
Tony, who I'm liking.
well, we don't
right
know
now.
yet.
Just saying.
We don't know
We
yet.
don't know
No,
yet.
but I'm saying
Has-
as up to
yeah.
this episode, I've always been. I'm like, I feel like the Red is sort of the. Like Kayla, Shane, Ashley, they're all. I'm like, you're all such
and
jerks
time
right
again
now.
has shown you can never, ever, ever bet against CT or Wes.
Those are
True.
two of like the
One
heaviest
day.
hitters.
Can-
One
Cannot
day when
ever bet
CT
against these
is
two.
like 90
Right.
years old, we're
Yeah.
finally going to be able to
Grandpa
see him
bod.
lose.
Yeah,
Grave rolling.
but I mean,
Like,
Wes
ooh,
and
headstone
CT
can you
together,
avoid?
that's just like a
Rivals
powerhouse,
too,
man.
dude.
That is-
Rivals too. They won it.
Well, then
right.
this
You do
is-
not want to go against those two guys, you know, especially at their own game.
This is kind of good that you're bringing up good pairings because then we can move into our segment of this
Ooh,
week.
okay.
And with the twist this episode, we're going to give and discuss for a special segment what our dream pairings going forward in this game would be. So who has one on the top of their head they're
Wes
excited
and
about?
CT all the way.
But
Okay.
so so let's just play it that way then. All just dream pairings. It doesn't have to be champs or stars. Even though I believe it's going to be a champ and a star
Okay.
on each team. But if we had it our way, you want to see CT and Wes on this season
I think,
together.
yeah, so our dream team overall just could, I think, take the competition. I would say absolutely Wes and CT.
No one would compete with them. They'd probably
yeah.
just demolish everything.
What's
Exactly.
funny is I would actually like to see Louisa with Devin, even though Devin's not on
I
the
think
show
it's
anymore.
just Luis.
Sorry, Luis. I'm sorry. Just Luis. I would like to see Luis with Devin, even though he's not on the show. But I mean, I would just like to see him maybe with Shane. You know, and
Luis and Shane. That's
Luis and
actually a
Shane.
really
That
good
would be
random
interesting.
pairing. I like that.
It's a random
interesting.
pairing because I mean they have the athleticism, they have the politics, they have everything you need, and nobody would see it coming. Just in terms of the pairing.
That's a good point.
I definitely want to see Brooke and Tori, these two big blonde bombshells who have the same body type, the same almost personality. Brooke was in here last week. She said that they're kind of on the same page. They're very spiritual, but they also can kick ass when need be. And I think that that would be a very fierce female duo. So
Yeah.
I like to see them two
Agreed.
together.
Yeah.
All right, I wrote mine down so I can whip through it real quick. This is pairing based on my amusement and that I think it would make a good competition. Kayla and Drake, Brooke and Shane, Lil Mama and Tony, Luis and Wes, Josiah and CT, Casper and Selena, Tori and Booby.
That was funny. Wait, so why do you have Caleb with Drake? Because I
Some of
also
those-
Because they don't like each other, or he doesn't like her. So I'd like to see them have to work.
right.
Rivals
Yeah, he's
three.
like,
This
she's
is just for
gotta go.
entertainment value.
This is for
Oh,
my
okay,
entertainment,
okay.
and I think it would
Okay.
make so that it's all champs and stars unless it wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's like it could be realistic. I think it'd be amusing, and it would be people that didn't necessarily like each other competing, having to pull together. So
Right.
these would be my I don't know, fantasy, but logic-based
Well,
preferences.
it's interesting you said Kayla and Drake because I had Kayla with so many different people. At first I said I want to see Kayla with Selena because I know they had that back and forth in the beginning. And then I said, no, Kayla's obviously got to be with Lil Mama
Yeah,
now
yeah.
because of this brand new beef that they had. And then I said, well, now you're saying Kayla and Drake, and they also dislike each other.
Right.
Yes. So it's hard because so many stars don't like Kayla.
Yeah.
She can actually be paired with
Surprise,
anybody.
surprise,
Right.
right?
I'm gonna throw it out there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the pairing was like Champs versus Stars Rivals Edition. So every single person, like Casper and Wes, and all the people who have, it would be a perfect formula.
Right.
I feel like that's
for it.
what they're going to do, and
Yeah.
it's almost like too
Right?
obvious.
Right, that's what I said earlier.
So I kind of want a mixture. I kind of want
Right.
some that are rivals, and then I want like a Tori and a Brooke, or a CT and a
Right.
Wes. If they can do champs versus
they're
champs,
like
some people that
BFF
actually
style. Yeah.
will work together. And then I do want to see the Tony and the Casper
Yeah.
coming back to each other because they've had this entire argument the entire time, and just seeing a mixture of that, or maybe like a Wes and Louise together, obviously,
Yeah,
because.
Yeah.
Those two manipulators need to be on the same team. It's almost too
Absolutely.
easy. So I am excited to see what MTV and the production crew puts together.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
exciting. Yeah.
Interesting.
Who would you guys want Booby to go with? Who'd you say again?
I said
Pam?
Tori.
Oh,
that's a powerhouse
They're
of,
probably if Tori wasn't
could
with
see
Jordan,
that.
I
Tori,
could see
Booby.
them
Yeah.
hooking
Me
up.
too. And Tori and Booby also versus Wes and Louise, I think, would be like and Casper and Brooke maybe would be like, woo,
Those
three
two are
would
good
be
pairs. I can see that.
powerhouses.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Shane and Jose would be funny because they obviously hate each other, and I feel like it's almost one of
Yes.
those things
Oh my
where
God.
you hate people that are like you, and of
Yeah.
course.
They're similar.
I don't know them personally, but, so they might hate me if they listen to this and hear me. But it seems like they're kind of on the same page. Like they're
Yeah.
both outspoken in their own rights, but not seeing why the other person is being outspoken.
It's funny because I could see the both of them saying karma is a B-I-P-C-H.
Yes, exactly. They're
I can
so
see the
similar.
both of them like
Yeah.
saying that.
That would be entertaining. though.
Totally.
Do you guys have
That would be great.
any others you think?
I'm on board with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice.
I think at the very end there's probably going to be another twist. Like I know we got a couple episodes because I mean who's going to win? Is it going to be a pair that wins, or is it going to be one person that wins? Like you never know, right?
It's
'Cause
gonna
most
be
of the
a
times,
single. It's gotta
always
be.
going to be a single person who wins. So even though you have a pair, in the end they might do a thing where like, okay, well, are you either going to split the money with your person, or are you going to take the money and
Are we
run?
going back to
Well, it's all for
Johnny?
charity.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny's right. Oh, it's like you never know, right?
I wonder if they would make a game about charity, get that cutthroat,
Yeah.
where they would say you can steal from this person's charity.
Dude, that would be a
Not even
great twist.
Bananas
That would
would
be
do
great
that.
TV.
Yeah,
That'd be-
but that's a bad taste.
I don't even think
That's
Bananas
bad
would stoop
taste.
that low because who
Yeah.
wants to be that big of an
And I-
a-hole?
Yeah.
I mean, they're stealing for the sake of you on a regular
Yeah.
season of the challenge, and then they're stealing like, well,
Charity.
I'm taking from PETA or
Yeah,
Special
like-
Olympics.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna do that. So
Right.
I think ultimately it has to be champs versus stars because it is what the show is, and I don't think it could be a champ star pair that wins. It does have to be. My guess would be that there'll be like two pairs at the end, and then it'll be champs versus stars for the win.
Yeah,
Or
this would be an individual one.
I'm
don't know,
wondering
or
how
two
long this is
verse.
going to go. How many more episodes are there? Because now they're breaking off into pairs. Are they going to do a
Yeah.
purge? I mean, Tony said this earlier on if we got a purge, we got a purge. It's almost like he knows something we don't, and he's letting it out before it's supposed to be let out.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that could very easily happen because there's probably not a lot of episodes left, and there's a lot of players.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, or it could be a thing too. Maybe it's a double elimination. Now that they're in
Right.
pairs, you know what I mean? You can send home more people. It could be anything. Who knows, Jen?
We're just gonna have to watch
There's a
the
lot
rest
going
of the
on.
season.
Yep.
We're at the
Have to figure
whims
it
of
out.
the challenge gods.
Yep. So Champs or Stars, episode 6, Champs caught in crossfire. I did it, people. I said it this time without getting all tongue twisted. We do have a tiny bit of news and gossip.
Ooh.
All right.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Wait for that dramatic effect. So this is very short, just one thing that I came across in the last few weeks, and if you're very heavily a fan of all the MTV shows, you've probably heard of this already, but I don't know if our panel has, so I definitely want to let you guys know. So Angela, who I've mentioned before, who is on Exit on the Beach, which I know Pam is watching and we're loving, she's also exes with Derek Henry, who is also Tori's ex.
Yep.
who was on Dirty 30 and Invasions.
Yep.
So Angela is going on Final Reckoning. So I guess they're bringing people from X on the Beach. I'm sure she's not the only one. So they're definitely blurring the lines. Final Reckoning, I thought, was going to be pretty much just the people from Invasions and Vendettas. But we see, you know, the lines blur a little bit, and Angela's going to be there, so there's probably more people. But the big thing is the rumor that I'm almost like 90% confirmed is that Angela hooks up with Bananas on Final Reckoning.
Surprise.
While she's supposed to be, I believe, dating her boyfriend from this season of X on the Beach, Tarai.
That girl is crazy.
Crazy.
Like, she is next level. She's not like challenge crazy. She's Bad Girls Club crazy. I think she's from
She's from the Bad Girls Club.
I
yeah.
mean, she's like, why are you looking at me? Boom, I'll stab you with the eye. I mean, she is crazy. So I don't know
psycho.
how.
Yeah, she's perfect for the challenge house then.
But not, I mean, I don't know. Can
Great.
she do anything? Like, how long is she going to last? On
Exactly, because we've never
Like,
seen.
I don't know if she's an athlete on any level.
But
That's why I love the
But
challenge.
that's the thing, is it's not about how physical you are. It's about how you play the game.
Sometimes.
And a lot of times, sometimes who you're paired up with, and to be paired up with Johnny, that's not a bad person to be paired up
Well,
with.
we don't know if they're paired up.
That's
They
probably
hook
what she
up.
thought.
I
Yeah.
mean,
But we saw that not work for Natalie last season, and the challenge
Yeah.
is really good at exposing people who think that they're really good at politics and mental games, because as much as you need that, you also do need to be athletic and good at things. So the challenge is good at exposing, like, oh, you think you're tough. Let's see how you actually do with all these people who think the same thing, and you put yourself in a position where you actually have to go against them head to head like you're in a boxing
and have
ring.
alliances and have a past and actually realize that they have to be good at it too, so have tended to train physically. This girl is next level though. Like, I don't know.
And Alexis Nicole, I want to
Ooh,
give her a
she
shout
would.
out. She says, Angela and Bananas, what in the absolute?
I mean,
I didn't think that
seriously.
was her type. And she has a really good point. I just took this at face value. But honestly, like, Angela and Bananas, it's got to be for the fame level that he has, I
Either
guess.
of them, I didn't think that was their type. I think Bananas must be going through something right now, like post
But
breakup.
that is the
It's like,
rumor, so it's not
That
100%
is
true.
the
Wow.
rumor.
I'm excited for Darrell, though, for the next season.
Is
Most
he
definitely.
confirmed that he's on it?
He was actually, if you listen to the trailer that they actually broke for MTV, you hear his voice. So it's not necessarily confirmed, but 100% it is Darrell. And I mean, he's the spirit killer. I mean, he's one of the best of the challenge. So I'm definitely excited because I know in the past few seasons, he's come up kind of short.
Also, making it that this is the final phase in what they're calling a trilogy.
Yeah, it doesn't-
It makes sense to have Darrell be there.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to have Angela be there, so I'm confused.
Not at all.
I
But
think-
maybe a Kaylee or one of those other UK or
Yeah.
random
Yeah.
people
I
drop
hope she's
down.
on
and
it.
like,
Just sprinkle something in there.
yeah,
you know?
let's throw this.
Oh,
chum
I
in the
hope the
waters.
UK people are on it.
Oh, absolutely.
I actually think I also saw something like a picture of Jose being on this season too, I think. So that'll be
We'll find
interesting.
out.
So we're bringing all sorts of people, still bringing in Big
Bring
Brother,
Kyle
X
back.
on
I
the
just want to see
Beach.
Kyle again. That
I'm
guy's
sure
hilarious.
Kyle will be there. He would probably
hilarious.
love it if he got the call back.
Maybe they have them come in as like
Mercenaries.
Yeah, something like that.
Kinda
Maybe
like
they're
that.
not
Maybe.
full on.
We'll see. Obviously, we see where we
exciting.
are with Champs for Stars right now, that we're so excited for Final
know.
Reckoning. No, Champs for Stars is still very good, and we will be here again next week for episode 7, breaking it down. I think that's been all for episode 6 tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you leave us a comment. Go hit us up on iTunes and subscribe that way. And also, let us know what you think about your dream teams for the upcoming season of Champs for Stars, when now they're breaking into pairs. So thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jenna Bussiere. Tweet at me your thoughts at Jenna_Bussiere. And thank you for joining us, Justin, Pam, and David. Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Justin.
What up, what up? You can find me at your boy Jay Yang on Instagram.
Right on.
That's all you can find me on. It's on Instagram. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
I'm not popular.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
didn't
not
know
popular.
if it was a dramatic
Follow
pause.
me. I'm like, the end.
Very short to the
Period.
point.
I'm sorry. I
We're
need
used
followers.
to rambling.
I
We're
need
not used to
followers.
just
I'm
saying
sorry.
one
Right.
That's
thing.
who I am, just short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
To the point.
My name, I never know. My name is Pamela Gross, and my social media, where you can find me, please, I love to talk to people on Twitter about this, so please hit me up, is Pamela Gross Jill.
All right, guys. Thank you again so much for hanging out with us tonight. It was fun. David Punkrock Christopher. If you want to find me, Instagram, David Punkrock Christopher. Twitter, DPR Christopher. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.